Really, I'm in the happiness business because you see, what happens is people come to me and say, I want to know how to be happy. And I say, why are you not? And they go, well, look, it's not that I'm not happy. What's going on here is that I've got, a wife and 2.2 children and a Volvo, and, the big promise hasn't been delivered because I should be happy, but I'm just me. And so over the years, I've realised that there are three keys to happiness, which if we don't pursue them, then happiness is not going to turn up for us. Now, happiness is a very worthwhile goal. However, when you pursue happiness, then by definition, you haven't arrived. So we need to look at something deeper. And that's the idea of, okay, happy is good, but that's sort of what you get when you go and see a comedian, tell a joke, and that kind of stuff. So happiness is a great thing to go and pursue. But really, what we're looking for is satisfaction, fulfillment, contentment, and the sense that I'm happy with my life. I like my life, I like the way my life is, and I don't want to change anything. That's really the goal or the target that we're after. And finding that goal or that target has three concepts that you'll want to pay attention to. Number one, not necessarily these things are not necessarily in order of importance, but number one, finding purpose. In other words, what we have to do is we have to have things to do that are important to us. There are two aspects of this. The first one is most of us need to have something to do that is a contribution that makes the world a better place because we were here. Not too many of us want to step off the planet at the end of our days thinking that we just used up resources, wasted time and polluted the joint. We actually want to think that, our presence made a difference, and it made a difference not just to people's lives, but to the way things are as well. So that's one level of purpose. Another level of purpose, and by the way, that one's really difficult to handle in terms of finding it because it could take years. The other version of purpose is how do I do what I'm doing purposefully? And that's the one where you can get the biggest gains straight up. And pretty much it boils down to this. You've got to do some things today that probably you'd rather not do. But how do you do them with a sense of purpose? How do you do the things you do want to do with a sense of purposefulness? In other words, how do I get on with it? How do I bring lots of energy to it? And really, that question is the one that you've got to answer, and that is a decision that you'll make to yourself about this is not my chosen task, but I am going to give it everything that I've got. Because people who give it everything they've got are happier. Why are they happier? Because they're finding more of themselves. They're revealing more of themselves to themselves as they go. In other words, living up to your potential is its own reward. So have a look at purpose from the point of view of what is there that's bigger than me? So what is it that I'd like to contribute to? What is it that I'd like to make different? Whether I do that with my brains, whether I do that with my money, which is the least satisfactory, or whether I do that with my knowledge or my experience or whatever it is, what can I contribute to so that that thing becomes better but is bigger than me? I'm not the major beneficiary of that. One of the ways of looking at that is to ask yourself, well, who benefits from this? In other words, is the benefit of what I've got to share going to the people that I care about? In other words, you might want to help the homeless. You might want to help the people in your family. You might want to help people who are struggling with a disability. You might want to help people from some ethnic background. So who benefits from this is important to you because we need to know that our efforts are going in a direction where we would prefer them to be. And of course, how will the ripple effect happen? Who do I impact and who do they impact on as well? And in what way will the world be a better place? Secondly, what we need to do is look at what we're passionate about. And, like I said in previous telecasts, most people look outside and say, I'd like to be passionate about this or that, and I want this to come and talk to me. Really, I'd suggest to you, what do you love to do? Because when you love to do that, what you do is you project yourself into it. And as you project yourself into it, you find passion. In other words, you can be passionate about writing a book. And certainly I've had that experience where I was fully engaged in writing a book because I just wanted to write it. The fact that it might sell a lot or it might sell a little was not quite as important as the fact that I actually wanted to do it. And I wanted to get to the point where the thing existed. And so I actually enjoyed the process. Some people don't. What I'm going to suggest to you is the difference between enjoying it and not enjoying it is whether you project yourself into it, whether you can fully engage, whether you can fully drop into and totally exist in that. So what do you love to do? What are you willing to try? In fact, how much time are you willing to put aside to have a go at doing something to see if that's a thing that you could project yourself into? Remember, you're not trying these things to see if they do it for you. That's never going to work. It's a question of opening yourself and projecting yourself in so that you engage in what it is. So are you willing to put aside some time, a couple of hours every week for a number of weeks in a row so that you can have that experience of frustration in the beginning where you don't find anything because you're looking out there, but then it starts to dawn on you that it actually doesn't matter what it is, that you're actually disappearing into it. That allows you to discover yourself, to realize your potential. And that's a magnificent thing to do. So that's passion. So number one is purpose, number two is passion, and number three is personal power. The ability to impact on the circumstances rather than have the circumstances tell us what we can and we can't do and deal with all the other difficult things out there. The more power we have, the greater our ability to bring happiness onto the table for ourselves because we can make things how we want them to be. Elements in that boil down to number one, emotional intelligence. If you address learning emotional intelligence, you're going to find that you develop heaps more personal power simply because it allows you to know how you're feeling, adjust how you're feeling, recognize what others are feeling, influence what others are feeling, and it kind of liberates you from being bound up and caught up in your own feelings or the feelings of others. If you've ever been stuck in a drama situation, then what you'll realize is you don't have the emotional intelligence to fix this or to change it so that everyone in that situation can be happier than they are involved in all the drama. And too often we find ourselves caught in drama. If you want to know about that, just watch the news. The news is just drama, 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 drama. And we just sit there and we buy into it. We're not very powerful at that point. We're very recipient and we get programmed that drama is good and then we're hooked and we're addicted, etc. Second key thing about power is your ability to implement. You know, knowledge is not wisdom. Wisdom is applying the knowledge that you have. So I would say to you, if you want to be powerful, have a look at what you already know that you're not implementing. The most obvious demonstration is that we all know that we need to eat better and go to the gym more often. That's knowledge. Wisdom is actually turning up at the gym. And I get there a bit myself, and I'm surprised at the variety of people that I see. There's not too many other regulars, and even the other regulars, they're a bit sporadic about that as well. Wisdom is getting there when it's difficult. Doing what you need to do instead of what you want to do is how you get personal power. Because if I do what I need to do instead of what I want to do, which is sleep in or eat chocolate or whatever it is, then that builds the power within me because I know that I'm the kind of person who can do what I want to do because I want to get the end result of what it is. And I guess the other thing about power is how much control you have over your finances. It's critically important that we get enough money so that we have the choices that come with having enough money to choose what's right and to live according to our values instead of having to subjugate our values and do what we need to do to earn a quid so that we can pay the bills and those kind of things. And in my view, too many people in our world have fabulous wealth that they don't use well. You know, if you're watching this video, the chances are you're in the top 1% of income earners in the world, and yet you may feel like you don't have control over the money. I'm suggesting there's enough money, there's not enough control. So you need to work on that. Really what I'm saying boils down to this. Happiness is not a new thing. Happiness is not a new possession, it's not a target, it's not a whatever. Happiness is something within you that you'll discover when you have a sense of purpose, when you're being passionate about what you do, and when you're exercising your power mostly over yourself. We talk about power being outside, but it's mostly power over yourself. So if what I've been talking about resonates with you, I'm running a live training on these three concepts and how to get them into your life in a couple of days. If you'd like to be with us, then I'll pop the link in the comments, and all you got to do is click in, sign up, and I'll see you at the training.